Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy OmieSaiyan. Today we're going to talk about 5 tips that I have for you guys in Call of Duty to obviously get better. Just the other day, and this blew my mind, I was DM'd, "Hi, I'm some random who just watched one of your TikToks and I was wondering if you had any tips for me to improve. I feel like I'm stuck and I'm not making any progress." That really hit me personally, because coming from someone that was like basically nobody to basically when I was competing at the time, years ago, I realized a lot of players like you guys that are watching this video right now don't have anyone to really teach you guys, tell you to do this a certain way, right? I think it's time for me to stop showboating my skill. It's time for me to help more people, and hopefully these tips help you guys out. So let's start off with the first tip, and this is going to be rotations. The problem with rotating is that many people still have a hard time making that sacrificial play on making sure they have the next rotations on whatever hill it may be. So let's take Skid Row for example. Everyone and their mom knows that P2 is one of the god hills on Skid Row, as well as P5, basically meaning that if you get a full setup and a pre-rotation going on there, get the little trades and chance of getting a full 60 hill. But the problem with Ranked today, and it's going to be an occurring play, is that many people just do not like to rotate. People start rotating 10 seconds left on old hill, 5 seconds left on old hill, meaning that no one will be at the next hill. And it's one of the most hardest thing, especially solo queuing. Obviously, I know how to go for spawns majority of the time, and when you're single-handedly trying to do that while you're taking 3 to 4 people on at the next hill, it's just near impossible. So make sure when you're solo queuing or playing Ranked with your teammates that you make sure that these rotations are set up properly. I would say for a lot of the god hills that maybe start rotating 30 seconds ahead of the time, especially when you have control of the current hill. Now, why does this also apply with control and search and destroy? A lot of people in Ranked are so focused and fixated on pre-aiming. It is sickening. I understand it's the 3-4 MCW meta, but you also have to understand, based on trades and what's going on in the map, that your positioning also plays an effect. And you sitting at one spot for 20-30 seconds long, just basically playing TDM by yourself, is not going to help your team. My second tip for you guys is how to understand spawns and spawn trapping. It has always been one of my favorite things to do, especially as an SMG player, because it tilts so many people so bad. The easiest way to understand how to do this, assuming you're someone who has played Call of Duty for many years, just like those good old days of playing public matches, my favorite way to explain this is to act like this is a chess game. What players are not doing is that every time they respawn, they're really not critically thinking, asking themselves, hey, they're sort of like doing flashcards for an exam. Spawns is just basically coming down to just pure memory base, and the more you remember to spawn, more people won't stand a chance against you. So for example, let's run through 3-4 situations of where I end up dying, and I want you to take a couple of seconds based on the situation of where the hill is and where I'm dying. Where do you think I'm going to spawn? This is P1, right? There's 50 seconds on the clock, and you can see that I'm pushed in the back door, right? Get this guy on the cross. Now, do you understand what I'm doing right here? Because I know my teammates on the top left have control of the hill, but also are probably like sitting like back tank or back wall. These kids right here would never expect someone like this for me to do this, right? Boom, easy. Now I want you to guess where I spawn, right? Boom. I'm spawning castle wall. So we still have these spawns for like kind of like P2, and this is exactly how you can like truly finesse like games so much. Exactly. Now you get what I'm saying, right? My first weeks of Ranked, of course, I tinkered around and messed up so much to find which lines are too far to push out, because that's just the only way to learn, right? You have to make mistakes in order to perfect your gameplay. Another sneaky and little bonus thing I'm gonna add for you guys, and it's truly just, it's kind of ratty, I'm not gonna lie. Let's say you're going to the next hard point, everyone's trying to rotate, get there, but now pay attention to this timer, as it's very crucial. It's a race to get control of the next hill, meaning every kill you get for this rotation will have a huge chance of rotating those guys back to the old hill and spawning them out. So have you ever seen someone cutting off a gap far from the next hill, but he kills 2-3 of your teammates and instantly runs back to the next hill just before time runs out on the old hill? What he basically did is he played the spawn of a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible scene. My friends, is what spawn manipulation is. When you die, remember those spawns. Let's say you die in P3 and you spawn out. Remember that spawn, because the next time the rotation comes around and you're on P3, let's say you have control of the hill this time, you're gonna remember that, hey, I spawned out right over there the last time we spawned out. So I'm gonna basically look that way. Use that information and basically fry. Moving on to tip number 3, awareness. Have you ever had that teammate who often says, what's going on? I literally have no idea what's going on, and it turns me off instantly because I think this guy is, I'm not gonna lie, is an idiot. But I know that happens. Some days you hop on Call of Duty and you kind of just have a slower thought process when it comes to the game. But what is awareness? I mean, understanding how many enemies you eliminated and how many more are left. Are you looking out for 1 or 2 more opponents after you and your teammates have taken care of some regarding the objective or the spawn? Are you keeping an eye out for a player on of 5 streak is currently playing for their cruise missile? And these are questions you should be asking yourself repeatedly in the middle of a game, because if you're really not just trying to outsmart your opponents and you're just kind of shooting your gun, it's one of the worst mistakes you're going to be making. Look at the CDL, look at the challenger scene. There's plenty of kids that can shoot their gun. So pay attention to your minimap and understand what your teammates are holding, whether it's power positions or just simply blocking spawns. For example, it's common to hear someone scream, "I thought you were watching that." And sometimes it can be misread on your part, or your teammates just are simply camping a corner for getting useless kills. I need you to basically check that mini-map almost like every 2 to 3 seconds to basically understand what's going on, because if you're not, it's basically like driving a car without checking your rear mirror or your back mirror to understand what's going on the road. So just start paying more attention to these details and watch your gameplay improve just like drastically. Just always ask yourself when you're playing Call of Duty and Ranked, if you have a bad game or a good game, what could I have done better? What were the mistakes that I made? A lot of people just have a really high ego when playing, and they think that they're gonna get a CDL contract in about like 2 months. But what you really need to understand is that even though bad or good, ask yourself, what could I have done better to have a better game so I can obviously become that godlike player I really want to truly become. The next tip I want to talk about for number 4 is, let's talk about communication. Is a key factor in Call of Duty. So do you have that teammate that's still basically saying he's right there? Yeah, it's about time that you tag him in here and so I can help him out. So how do you upgrade your communication? For example, a lot of you guys, since you're playing Ranked, also watch the Call of Duty League, and you definitely heard listen-ins on how they communicate. I'm going to assume that you probably had your mind blowing off, because when you're in Ranked, no one's calling out like that. And that's the thing, is that the problem is the commonality of callouts is basically just saying where you died. Like, he's in our spawn, he's top AC. So what I want you to start doing is just adding a little bit more detail to these callouts to help your teammates. So instead of just saying where you died, add information like he's in our spawn, but maybe he's also ADSing, he's not moving, or he's probably just full head sprinting at you towards you. What this is doing is giving your teammates more information to act on rather than just knowing where you died, because many people, players like myself, always look at the minimap and it's not really helping for what you're trying to say. When people give me instant callouts, like for me, I'm a big fan of fast callouts, but some people are just really good on like just wanting to have like really well read out words. But for me, it's like, especially when I'm in the middle of taking out 1 to 2 guys and I don't have that time to check my minimap, it's like a wake-up call when someone goes like, "Hey, just one more guy pushing you on your left." Little tips that can help you guys get more attention from your teammates is saying certain gamer tags to get your attention on a specific individual. Just start using the ping option. I always live ping people that tend to get away from me. It's like a cheat code. Like it's a live ping walking across the map for 5 seconds. Or just simply spam red ping on certain areas, such as if you know someone, there's an enemy in a certain location, such as crates hiding in there just for based on spawns. If your teammates are not rotating, just ping it and they'll know exactly what you're talking about. So upgrade that communication, involve those descriptive words and situations. You can basically help paint a picture in your teammate's head, can obviously translate, effectively go from there. The last and most important tip, since it's such a competitive atmosphere and a lot of you people were having fun at one point, then you're not having too much fun now, thing is to seriously have fun. You're also speaking to someone that's played competitive Call of Duty basically when I was 13 up till 22. And the funny thing is, now I personally can't play video games normally without always trying to win, because that's how I was wired when always competing. I think Ranked just gives us that chance to really kind of like live up the feel. So don't let that one bad game or one toxic teammate really ruin everything for you. I would just say stay composed. Composure is the biggest tip that I have for you guys. People just really throw away their games just like that. Like for example, being down 40 to 200 at hardpoint is a really bad bummer, and so just don't ever give up on those type of games. I think, for example, Composure is one of the weakest side of things that I see in most average ranked players, because the most basic of players today get their entire game thrown because one guy suddenly got turned 360'd, are only down by 30-40 seconds in any game, and they're just crying non-stop because they're on a losing streak, like 5-6 games down. So just don't be that guy. Have a huge optimistic look on the game, but remember to never give up, because ranked is a testament when you're playing. Like, it's not gonna be easy, so use this as just a fun way to meet new players, keep pushing your limits, and obviously get better as the way goes on. There's a lot of freaks and unnatural beings on ranked that make it so bad, and I hear all day because people love coming after content creators like myself. Just be really appreciative that some of you guys truly got better at Call of Duty, and I don't think some of you really don't give yourself a lot of credit. The other day, one of my close friends was talking about how he went from gold to platinum in rank play, and he was so happy letting me know that like he actually started started seeing improvements in his gameplay, and it made me like actually so happy, because most people when they're playing public matches, they can't relate to that. And he was just mentioning that by watching my gameplay, by watching the Call of Duty League matches, doing certain things like that actually made him a better Call of Duty player. And these are just simple things. Like if you take all these top 5 tips that I gave you today, I swear, I promise you, it's gonna make you a better player than just always just shooting your gun, endlessly thinking, like, you know, not really thinking about what's going on. So hopefully this did help. This is my first time doing something like this. If you guys really do like this video and this definitely helps you, please let me know, because I know for the next time that, hey, I definitely have to make this so I can help my guys obviously fry everybody else in ranked play. I can definitely do part 2, part 3. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.